Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's Kid Bombing here. I'm glad to see you joining me on this brand new video. Welcome back to my channel also. And some of you new faces, and welcome to my channel as well. So, first of all, I've got a new storybook I'm going to read to you soon. For story time together, as we learn and listen. You probably might recognise me in the previous videos. You definitely did. So, hereby, I'll show you a storybook I've got. You're quite familiar with. This is Disney's Robin Hood Saved the Day. This is published by Disney's Wonderful World of Reading and also by Grolier Book Club Edition. So then, what I'm going to do is, when I read this book by words, and I show some illustrated pictures from each page. So, are you sure you want to join me? Fantastic, you came to the right place. So, let's begin. In the little town of Nottingham, the people were very worried. The evil Prince John would soon be collecting tax money for them again, but they had no more money to give. "If we do not pay the money," said Mrs. Owl, "we will go to jail." "We need Robin Hood," said Mrs. Rabbit. "He would know what to do." Inside the castle, Prince John sat playing with his gold coins. He loved gold more than anything else in the world. He called for his advisor, Sir Hiss. "I need more gold," he said to Sir Hiss. "Sire, the people have no more gold to give you," said Sir Hiss. "Nonsense," shouted the prince. Then he called for the sheriff. "Go to the town and collect more taxes," he said. So the sheriff went to the town. The people in the town gave him a few coins they had left. Even little Skimpy Rabbit gave money to the sheriff. He gave the gold coin he had gotten for his birthday. Mr. Dog paid taxes too. The sheriff found the coins Mr. Dog had hidden inside the bandages on his broken leg. Mr. and Mrs. Owl each gave their lost gold coin, but the sheriff said it was not enough. The sheriff had to find more gold for Prince John. He went to the church. Inside, he found the coin in the poor box, and he took it for Prince John. "That money is for the poor," said Friar Tuck. "Please do not take it." Friar Tuck was a kind man who always tried to keep the people of Nottingham. "No one can refuse to pay taxes," said the sheriff. "You will help for this." The sheriff marched Friar Tuck off to the castle dungeon. One of his men, Trigger and Buzzard, helped guard Friar Tuck along the way. But the sheriff still did not have enough gold for Prince John, so he arrested many of the people of Nottingham and put them in jail too. After the few days in jail, the people would tell him where there was more gold. Meanwhile, Robin Hood and his friend Little John were hiding deep in Sherwood Wood Forest, near the town of Nottingham. They were hiding because they were outlaws. Robin Hood had stolen Prince John's gold 7 times. Each time Robin stole the gold, he gave it back to the people of Nottingham. The people loved Robin Hood and Little John, but Prince John hated them and wanted to destroy them. So the outlaws stayed hidden in Sherwood Forest. On the day that Friar Tuck was put in jail, Skippy Rabbit went to the Sherwood Forest to find Robin Hood. He told Robin and Little John that Friar Tuck was going to be hung next morning. Prince John has gone too far, said Little John. We must teach him a lesson, said Robin Hood. Robin and Little John needed some disguise. They each dressed up like a beggar. Then they had started off for Nottingham. Good luck, said Skippy Rabbit. The sheriff of Nottingham was outside Prince John's castle testing a new hanging noose. Trigger and his buzzard cousin, Nutsy, were helping the sheriff. Robin Hood and Little John walked up to them. The sheriff did not know who they were. Who's going to be hung? Asked Robin Hood. Friar Tuck, said the sheriff, because he would not pay his taxes. Robin, this is terrible, said Little John in a whisper. What are we going to do? Don't worry, said Robin Hood. I have a plan. Then Robin whispered his secret plan to Little John. Move along, you beggars, said the sheriff. We have important work to do. That night, the sheriff went to Friar Tuck's cell. The poor friar was in heavy chains. Good night, friar, said the sheriff. You hung in the morning. But Friar Tuck was hoping that Robin Hood would save him. The sheriff went to his office in a castle dungeon and sat down. He was feeling very proud of himself. Then Trigger came to give him a report. It is 9 o'clock at night, and oh, it's well, said Trigger. Good, said the sheriff. That means I can take a little nap. The sheriff fell sound asleep. Trigger and Nutsy guarded the jail. Several hours passed. At night, Nutsy made the round of the jail. 12 o'clock, and all is well, he shouted. Be quiet, said Trigger. We must not wake the sheriff. Nutsy walked down on the hills of the dungeon. Suddenly, two hands reached out and grabbed him. It was Robin Hood. After grabbed Nutsy, who took off Nutsy's cloak. Then Little John tied Nutsy up. Robin dressed himself in Nutsy's cloak. Then he put on a nose that looks like Nutsy's nose. It was a wonderful disguise. Robin looked just like Nutsy. 1 o'clock in the morning. All is well, said Robin in a loud voice. He used a voice that sounded just like Nutsy. Trigger heard Robin calling out. Then he thought it was hearing his cousin Nutsy. Nutsy makes a lot of noise, he said to himself. Then he walked down the hills of a dungeon. In the meantime, Little John tiptoed into the sheriff's office. The sheriff was still sound asleep. Little John took the keys from the sheriff's belt. Then he went to the sheriff's cell. Little John quietly freed Friar Tuck. Robin stood guard at the door. "Oh, thank you," said Friar Tuck. "But you must free the other people too." Little John opened all the cells in the dungeon. "Oh, thank you, Little John," said the people of Nottingham. Robin Hood stood guard in the hall outside. "Oh, it's well," he shouted. "Little John, lead the people out of the castle." Robin Hood waited until the people had escaped. Then he called out, "Guards, guards, come and catch Robin Hood." Trigger heard Robin's calling, but he thought it was his cousin Nutsy. "Quick," he said to the Winos, "we must catch Robin Hood." The sheriff woke up in his dungeon office. Trigger and the Royal Rhino ran into a dungeon. When they all were inside, Robin Hood locked the door behind them. Then Robin ran upstairs to Prince John's bedroom. Prince John was fell asleep in his bed. Around him were all his bags of gold, so his was asleep there too. Robin Hood walked in quietly, without a sound. Robin picked up the bag off the bag of gold. He dropped each one out of the window. Little John was waiting down below. He caught a bag of gold as he fell. Then he loaded them onto the cart that belonged to the people of the town. When Robin picked up the last bag, he heard clink clink. There was a hole in the bottom of the bag. Then Sir Hairs woke up and saw Robin Hood, and saw that gold was gold. "Sire," he shouted, "call a guard." But the guard was in jail. The prince was helpless. Robin Hood leaped from a window and landed in the moat with a huge splash. Little Skippy met him on the shore. "Hooray, hooray," he shouted. "You are my hero, Robin Hood." Little John and Robin pulled the cart of gold into the town. Friar Tuck helped them divide the gold into the equal shares for everyone. Then Robin and Little John went back to Sherwood Forest. Prince John could not believe his eyes. All his gold was gone. "You idiot, Hiss," he shouted. "This is all your fault." Sir Hiss could do nothing. "Yes, sire," he gasped. It was all poor fellow could say. The end. So, I hope you enjoy this video, and when you read this story of Robin Hood Saved the Day. We're highly dedicated to celebrate the 100 years of Disney. Behind the magical history of the animation studios has changed over time. So, if you are happy, and feel free to write your comments down below, and give a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Okay, so you also remember to subscribe to my channel by hitting notification, and don't miss out future contents. And obviously you can find me on my social links just below the video description. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest and TikTok. You can support my additional contents. That'd be really well appreciated, guys. Okay then, so I'm about to head off, and I'll see you guys soon.